Welcome back to It's Not You, It's Your Trauma. I'm Joe Ryan. If you want to know more about me, go to joeryan.com. The podcast is free of advertisers and sponsorship to keep it as authentic as possible. We do have a subscription-based model. Half the episodes are free, the other half are behind a paywall. You can subscribe to all episodes at Apple Podcast or Spotify. I'm an inner work coach. If you're struggling through addiction, feeling good about yourself, relationships, family system roles, or just need emotional support, you can go to joeryan.com/coaching and book a free 30-minute session with me. All right, here we go. If you don't learn how to legitimately suffer, you're never going to recover. That's it. That's this work. It's legitimately suffering. It is meeting yourself at your pain level and holding yourself in it. Not spiraling from it, not attaching to it, just allowing it to be. You don't judge it, you don't shame it, you don't hate it. You just let all of the fear, all of the anger, all of the humiliation, all of the guilt, and all of the shame filter up into your body and allow it to be there. Because you've cut it off, you've disassociated, you've worked around it, you have avoided it, you have worn a mask so that nobody can see it, and it's just fucking exhausting living that way. Emotions are energy in motion, and when we do not allow ourselves to feel our emotions, we trap that energy inside our body, and then we spend every waking moment avoiding it, and we live unconsciously. We make decisions that are not based on what's good for us. We make decisions that keep us out of pain. We choose the wrong people. We choose the wrong things. And unless you get in there and meet yourself on your pain level and start legitimately suffering, you will never, ever heal and recover. There is not a softer, easier way. There's no magic pill. There's no magic podcast. There's no magic book that's going to heal you. You cannot passively go through this journey by listening, watching, and reading and not doing the work. It's the equivalent of getting a gym membership, going to the gym, and sitting there and watching everybody else work out. You're never going to get in any better shape. You're going to get fatter and lazier and more lethargic, and you're going to be shaming the shit out of yourself because you're not out there getting in shape. It's the same with this work. It's like you're showing up, you're watching other people talk about it, other people write about it, wherever you're getting your information. It's the same as joining a gym and not working out, but showing up and watching everybody else. You gotta get in there and suffer. That's it. This is the big thing. This is what we fear. Because there's a part of us that remembers how painful it was to endure what we endured. The neglect and the abuse and the fear that we had to live with in our environment surrounding us all the time, that we never had an internal life. We don't know how to have an internal life. We know how to avoid that life. We know how to avoid those feelings. We know how to pretend. We know how to wear masks, but we don't know how to legitimately suffer. And that is the only way out of this, is through the pain that you are avoiding. It's that fucking simple. It's not easy to do. It can take somebody 3 years. It could take somebody else 10 years. But it's going to take some time. And you're going to feel worse before you feel better. But if you do this work and you do it well, you will come out clean on the other side. You will no longer live with anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, panic. There's going to be this vast amount of space within you that you get to fill however you choose. It becomes a choice, living consciously versus unconsciously. See, when we live unconsciously, we don't have choices. Somebody's driving the car and we're sitting in the back seat. They're making all the decisions, all the plans, and we are a bystander in our own life. We are on autopilot and just going into the default mode of being people pleasers, caretaker, codependents, addicts, shameful creatures. Shitty way to live. I'm on the other side of this now, and I can barely remember how painful it was, because life is that good on this side that it's gone. All of that work, all of that effort, all of that energy, all of that pain, all of that humiliation, it feels like it was another lifetime ago. And now we get to create a life for ourselves based on what's good for us, not what's going to take away the bad feelings, because that's our job and that's our responsibility, is to take care of our own feelings and our emotional well-being. There's not a partner that's going to take it away. There's not any amount of money, any amount of fame, any amount of success. It's not going to take it away. It's never going to be enough. It's like a thirst that can't be quenched. We need a constant supply of good feelings to keep us out of the bad feelings. That's a lot of fucking work to constantly be looking for a supply. It's all about addiction. It's all an addiction. Codependency, people addiction, alcohol, drugs, sex, work, gambling. Where are you spending most of your time and why? What is that time like? Are you at a job where you excel? Where you have to do it perfect? Where you are compulsed to be the shining star because you're hoping that somebody gives you some applause and some praise to tell you that you're good because you don't feel that you're good. So you need it from the outside, constantly needing approval. Constantly needing that mirroring face, that positive mirror. You're using people, places, and things to keep you out of your hurt and your pain when all you need to do is lean into it and start working through it. So when you come out the other side, you don't need anything to keep that supply that keeps you out of the bad feelings, because you're going to exercise the bad feelings out. They're not going to be there anymore. But you can't avoid them and think they're going to go away. You can't think that if you make enough money, they're going to go away. If you have a beautiful or handsome partner, that you walk into a restaurant, your ego is inflated because you have this eye candy with you, so you must be valuable. They're probably just as fucking broken as you are. They just were lucky enough to have an attractive appearance. No matter how successful, it's not going to take it away. No matter what you wrap yourself in, you're going to constantly going to have to try to keep yourself out of the hurt and pain for the rest of your life. And you're not doing things that are good for you. You're being grandiose and you're feeding your ego because you feel like a piece of shit. Nothing is going to take that feeling away except you doing the work, which is legitimately suffering with the pain and grieving that energy, those emotions out of you so that you can clear some space and you can be and you can create instead of react. Being a walk-in reaction sucks. You have no control over yourself. When you get a feeling and you attach to it, you spiral or you push back in anger. Like you have no control over your emotions. That's because you avoid them. You have to get to know them and you have to get to understand them and how they make you tick and the choices that they force you to make, even when you know it's bad for you, but you do it anyway because you can't legitimately suffer. It's like anything else in this life. And I always equate this with my clients. I use the same analogy all the time. If you haven't worked out in 30, 40, 50 years and you go to the gym, you're not putting 200 pounds on the bar to bench press the 200 pounds. You can't fucking do it because you don't have the strength. You got to start by just lifting that 15-pound bar until you build up strength, and then you don't struggle with it anymore. And then you throw an additional 10 pounds on and you struggle with that until it becomes easy. It's the same with the suffering. You start small. You do it in small increments. You schedule time to feel bad. You start to discipline yourself to lean into the feelings so that you can get used to it, so that you can understand them, so that you know what your triggers are and when you react. You see, when you don't do this work and you were just filled up with all of this crap inside of you and you get triggered, you spiral and you can't identify it. You don't understand what it is because you're filled up. There's no space. Your brain is not online. But when you start to grieve this out and work it through and get in touch with your anger and put your shame back on the fucking pieces of shit that gave it to you, and you have space inside, when you get triggered, you have the space to try to look at and identify it. But if you're not good at this work and you get triggered, you're just going to spiral because you're just looking for an escape. You're looking for that magic bullet that's going to take it away, and there isn't one. If anybody could have found it, it would have been me. I have tried everything and nothing else has worked except allowing myself to suffer. And the answers that you get in that suffering, it's like the key that unlocks the door to understanding why it is the way you are, and you don't have to be that way anymore because now you know why. I lost my best friend over the winter out of nowhere. He went in for hernia. He had colon cancer. He was dead in 5 weeks. There's a huge void and an emptiness in my life. But I spent months just grieving him, trying to understand why loss is so difficult for me. I don't do well with loss. I mean, keys, friendships, relationships, doesn't fucking matter what it is. I lose something and I go to this bad place that I cannot get myself out of. And normally I turn to drugs, alcohol, and sex to deal with my losses. And when he passed away, I spent 3 months held up in this apartment, sobbing and grieving and crying and trying to understand why others who knew him and loved him were functioning at a high level, and I was like a 5-year-old who didn't get the toy he wanted for Christmas. In that suffering and in that pain, I came to so many answers about myself that I could never get to before. And if I went out and acting like a lunatic just not to feel, I wouldn't have been able to grow. I wouldn't be able to understand why loss is so difficult. I get it now. It's crystal clear to me that I don't fear loss as much. Like, it's what a shitty way to live. Always worrying about loss, on guard for loss, is exhausting. It's because I know what the back end of loss is like for me, and it's not fucking pretty. Like, I don't ever want to have to feel those horrific feelings again because I didn't know how to deal with them. I didn't know how to manage them. And this is part of the reason I'm a codependent people pleaser, is because I can't have loss. So I do anything just so that you let me stay in this, whatever this is. Whether it's work or friendships or relationships, I can't have rejection because rejection is loss. I have to be perfect because less than perfect is loss. And that puts me into my shame. It wasn't until I did the legitimate suffering of the loss of the best friendship that I had ever fucking had, and will never, ever, ever have another friendship close to this one, that I understood why loss was so difficult for me. You gotta stop avoiding yourself, and you gotta start confronting yourself. And I know that's difficult. When you hate yourself, why the fuck do you want to take a look at you? But that's where all the healing is, to understand why you hate yourself. And what I came to believe to be true about my self-hate is I didn't really hate myself. I hated the thoughts that I had about myself, and those thoughts were fucking wrong. They were completely wrong. But I couldn't know that unless I had cleared out space inside of me. Because when you have disease in your body, when you have an anxious feeling, a guilt feeling, a humiliation or a shame feeling, what happens automatically? You go right to thought to take you out of your emotional pain. You're trying to think your way out of it when you need to feel your way through it. And when I am dysregulated and my brain kicks in and starts ruminating and obsessing, I don't think clear. But when I get into the hurt and the pain and I clear out that space, when those feelings come up now, I don't go into my head to rationalize my way out of it. I take my brain offline and I force myself not to think. But it's almost like those obsessive ruminating thoughts don't even kick in. It's like, oh, I know this. We're uncomfortable in our body. We're going to obsess for a little while and start hating ourselves. But it's the thoughts about us is what we hate. We don't hate ourselves. And when you can regulate your body, you will not have the similar thoughts. When you get good at regulating yourself, when you get dysregulated, you don't go into the hateful thoughts about yourself because you know better. We have to bring down the nervous system. We have to learn how to regulate it. And the way to regulate it is to start to get comfortable with it. See, I would get an uncomfortable, fearful, anxious feeling and I would run to something. I would run to anything. It didn't fucking matter. And if I couldn't work my way out of it through action to like mood alter, I would just spiral in those thoughts. And it would just leave me in this really shitty fucking place. It's the thoughts that kill us, and it's the feelings that feed the thoughts. If you can tame the feelings and learn how to regulate yourself, you will not have to go into those hateful thoughts. So it is allowing the dis-ease, the anxiousness, the energy that's in your body to fill your body up instead of repressing it. You may only be capable of doing it for 90 seconds. And there's the gym analogy. If you can only do it for 90 seconds, okay, tap out. And then try to get it to 2 minutes. And then try to get it to 9 minutes. And then try to get it to 30 minutes. And you keep working at this and you keep getting better. But what's going to happen when you try to stay in the feelings and just let them take your body over without fearing them, you're going to go into thought. And at some point, you're going to be like, holy shit, how long have I been checked out and ruminating? Was it 30 seconds? Was it 30 minutes? Was it 3 hours? I have no idea. And then you bring yourself back into your body and you just keep practicing this. And over time, you will get better at it. The answers that I got about myself with grieving his loss were the answers that I've always needed that I could have never gotten to. It sucks that it took him to die for me to actually get into so much pain that it took me to the places I needed to go, because I couldn't get there on my own. I couldn't produce that hurt and that pain on my own. It took something significant to get me there. But when I got there, I leaned into it and I sat in it and I lived in it. And I cried almost every night for 3 straight months until there was nothing left to fucking cry about. And there was space inside of me and there were answers. And really the truth of the answer is the thing that I hated most about myself is the way I protect myself. I know it keeps me from better friendships. I know it keeps me from better relationships. I know it keeps me from doing better in this life because I'm so afraid of loss and being caught off guard and being seen for something that I feel is shameful in me. I get a fuck you attitude when I get a resentment because I'm a giver and I keep giving and I keep giving and I keep giving. And at some point I get pissed off because I'm not getting any of it back. And then I become an absolute douchebag to whoever it is that isn't giving back to me. Why would they give back to me if I give them no indication that I need anything? Look how well adjusted I am. Look how well I'm doing. Look at how much I show up for you. I have no wants. I have no needs because I'm not broken. I'm not damaged. Look at the mask I'm wearing. And then 6 months down the line, I'm all pissed off because I'm being taken advantage of. Well, I'm the one who fucking set it up. So for me, with my friend who passed away, I knew him for quite a while and we had never had a resentment. But in the last 3 months before I found out he was dying, I had a resentment with him. And the guy kept trying. And I was like, fuck you. It's not good enough. You need to try harder. I didn't come out and say it, but that was my attitude. And I missed the last 3 months of his life and our friendship because of the shitty, dicky ways that I protect myself. And it was because of him dying and how important he was to me and how important I had to become to myself because I couldn't function in that kind of hurt and pain. And I couldn't go back to drugs and alcohol and sex and all that shit and just delay the grief, because that's all it is. You have been delaying the grief, the loss of childhood, the loss of innocence, the loss of connection to self. It's all delayed grief. See, I grieved immediately when he died. I could have delayed it. I could have ran around like a fucking lunatic to mood alter to keep me out of my pain. But at some point, it was going to catch up to me. It was going to eat me from the inside out like the cancer ate him. This was going to fucking destroy me. And I wasn't going to let it happen because I learned how to legitimately suffer in my pain. And I came to the answers that I needed. And I could tell you this, I'm on the other side of all of this shit now. I don't feel anxious. I don't feel fearful. I don't feel shame. I don't feel guilt. I don't feel humiliation. It almost never comes up in my body. And when it does, I have enough space cleared out of me that I can handle it when it comes up. And I don't spiral. I don't freeze. I don't fawn. I don't react in anger. I stay present. I don't attach to it. I let the feelings just wash over me. And if I can just pause and not attach to it and spiral down this shitty path that I've lived in for so long, that feeling will pass because I didn't panic. I didn't push it away. I didn't overcompensate it. I just let it be. And it passes. And this takes practice. Keep knocking yourself out with listening, reading, and watching, and taking no action. Keep showing up to the gym but not doing anything. Because you're gonna be miserable the rest of your life unless you take action and learn how to do this work.
Thanks for listening. You can contact me at joeryan.com. Follow me on Instagram at joeryan. And if you want, you can leave us a review on iTunes. That'd be great. All right, take care.